Are we starting?
Yeah, we've started. Mm-hmm.
So what I was just thinking about was a woman packing. It's kind of like the scenes at Kabul airport.
Okay, you know what?
That's when I walked into the bedroom, and that's what I thought of. I thought of grabbing onto the side of a plane, even if I might fall off.
What?
Because the chaos.
The clothes are trying to escape me?
That room is such a mess, and with your packing situation, that I think the Taliban would leave.
Okay, well, you know, that's
How about tying modern news into the current situation like that?
That's why they let women only wear one outfit, okay?
Genius. Look what we've done here in the West by leaving you have your own fucking voices.
Okay. You know, if I'm going to be honest, okay, I was never like great at packing to begin with. And when I went to Australia, I packed a carry-on suitcase. We've heard this one before. A carry-on suitcase, a duffel bag, and a backpack.
And you should have packed prison clothes.
I should have packed a lot more than I did pack.
Just a jumpsuit, an orange jumpsuit.
I was so proud of myself, too. I was so proud of myself. Like, I even took a photo and, like, sent it to people who, like, know me on a personal level to be like, look at what I'm taking for, like, you know, I was supposed to be there, 6 weeks, 2 months? I don't even remember. 6, 8 weeks, something like that. I was like, look at how amazing. And they were like, congratulations. And then that is what I had for 1 year. So now
6 months.
6 months. Excuse me. What do you think I had when?
Okay. I
motherfucker.
Redact.
No, sorry.
Redact the word. Retract. Yeah. What's the difference?
Don't make me do this right now.
Okay.
No, but like, yeah, that's what I had. I mean, you know, I bought some things at a thrift store. Okay, you know, but like, yeah. So the older I get, the harder it is for me to predict what I'm going to feel like wearing on any given day.
Okay.
And I'm like a feeling person. And also I'm like, I don't know. I don't really, all these clothes that I paid to have shipped over here don't even like feel like me anymore. And I know that's very lame.
Why don't you dress like me and just wear sweats and a hoodie on stage?
I don't know, because that's not me either. So, whatever. I'm putting together some shit. I'm trying to give myself options, you know what I mean?
Are you trying to organize an outfit for every show of the week?
Oh, what I've done in there, and I'm surprised you're even asking me these questions. I feel like...
No, I'm trying to learn more about, what are they called, women?
Okay. I have, I've already packed too much. Let's just put it that way. I've packed too much, and I have, like, enough options, like, based on what I've packed. You know, there's this shit called, like, a capsule wardrobe, but I don't do that. I do, like, that, but on steroids. So, basically, what I've probably packed for is at least, like, 2 weeks, if not a month.
I relate more to the Taliban than I do to women.
Okay. Yeah, and go on.
I don't know. I mean, they have one towel. Let's not say towel. They have one rug. And
the rug is better.
One tea towel hat. And then
you just did towel. Okay.
Oh, come on.
Tea towel. Suddenly tea towel makes it a little less
what are they
offensive?
What are they packing for? Revolution and the mountains.
Well, certainly not stand-up comedy, so they're not very funny. So I guess, sure, if, you know what? You do relate to the Taliban, now that I think of it.
Do you think any of those guys at the airport will have some airport material if they ever do stand-up? Do you ever try and, you guys know what it's like to try and get to the airport, try and get on a plane? Never hanging off the side of a plane for 45 minutes and you fall to your death?
That's not, those aren't members of the Taliban.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I guess I'm a bad person.
Perhaps.
So, how are you feeling? Oh, is that triggering question?
You really want to ask me how I'm feeling? Well, you know, my closer isn't working, so that feels good. And I think I'm one of the only people, from what I've gathered, not that I like know every fucking thing that's going on, because I don't pay attention to everything that's going on, but you know, I just like looked at my plants and realized that I didn't take pictures of every plant upon your request to send you the photo of the plant you need to water. Like, there's so much I have to do to leave that...
Don't worry about the plants. I got under control. I'm thinking of just misting the whole room.
Yeah, but some of them need to be watered. Nobody cares about this shit. But these plants are like, if I come back and they're dead, so are you know?
I'll replace them.
replace it. Some of these are irreplaceable. Anyway,
No, they're not.
so they're very expensive to replace. Some of them. Let's not do this. This is yeah.
I'm already nervous now with the plant situation. You know what I was thinking about? My huge fear. And I have a feeling because I'm so scared of it, I'm going to manifest it.
Mm-hmm. What is it?
Leaving the keys in here.
You're gonna lock yourself out?
Yeah. What do I do if that happens? I'll call you first, obviously.
That I don't know.
What if I just go around the corner to the estate agents?
They're not gonna have keys.
Should I just call keys?
No. Just don't lock yourself
Okay.
out.
Okay. Easier.
God, whoever's listening to this is like, really? Did you like, we waited till we're on mic to have these conversations?
If I lock myself out, I'm joining the Taliban.
Okay.
I'll need a win after that.
That's a win.
They're winning. What am I going to do? Like fucking sleep in the park? I guess I'll have to go to Luke's for a week.
Okay. Really though, when I said like, who the fuck wants to hear this, I meant it.
No, I'm just airing my fears. I think it connects with an audience. Everyone fears about locking themselves out.
Have you ever locked yourself out?
Yes.
Okay. When? Go on.
So many times. I don't like to jump back to traumatic memories.
So okay. One time I didn't lock myself out. I wonder if I've told this story before.
Just go for it.
Well, this is a weird one. This is a weird one. Have you ever had a night where like you can clock everything you drank? So you know you didn't drink that much.
Oh, you think you can remember everything you
drank?
No.
Because there's evidence. Okay, so let me explain.
Okay.
I worked one night a week as a waitress at a restaurant down the street from my house. I was the worst waitress in that restaurant. Very friendly, but just like hands down the worst at waitressing.
Forgetful.
No, I'm more of a hostess, even though I don't really like people either. I can figure out when tables are gonna be done eating and shit like that. I can predict the future.
If I was a waitress, I'd be so fat. You know that little walk between the restaurant and the kitchen. There's always a little corridor. When I worked in a restaurant, I could
used to jerk off.
Come on, please stop it. I could eat so
Bad
much.
memories.
Hey, I could eat so much in that little corridor. I
Yeah,
could get a whole fucking bread roll, smash butter in, and just fuck it in my mouth, and then I would swallow it whole just as I enter the customer area.
Oh, I as the hostess, I would waddle on into that kitchen, because the first restaurant I worked in, I was 17. It was the type of restaurant where they didn't know your last name. You weren't on any books. They didn't have your social security number. Yeah, Mario's Trattoria, and Mario,
New York.
Yeah, he was Hispanic, but he pretended to be Italian, and he had a trattoria.
Why would you pretend to be Italian?
Well, I mean that's how we feel, but whatever. So he had this basically Italian restaurant that was run by Hispanics, which is fine, but it's
Mexicans.
He wasn't Italian is my point. Yeah, one of the chef, that was one of the times I was sexually assaulted at work. 100%.
Me too.
Yeah, but actually the only way, so we'd get the same family meal every day. So it's when you work in a restaurant, they give you the meal that's for everybody, and it was always pasta with pink sauce, but then they had the pickled jalapenos.
What's pink sauce? Explain.
It's just fucking. It's it's not red sauce. It's not white sauce. It's pink sauce. I mean,
is it ketchup and mayonnaise mixed together?
No, it was a sauce that they would put on the pasta, but it was
okay.
I don't know. It was whatever. But then you put the jalapenos on it, and the whole thing was fucking edible and fine. So Mario's Trattoria, and Mario's Trattoria, that's where I learned. He was very you say hello to everyone when you come into the restaurant. Everybody matters here. With that said, that is probably the only substantial lesson that man taught anybody, because ultimately he was a fucking asshole. He was gay, but he was put on a little lipstick. You make more tips at lunch.
I like that.
Of course you do. And you had 12 tables at lunch. It was a fucking nightmare. Actually, the first table I ever waitressed, oh man, I was a horrible waitress. But this is not my fault. But the first table I ever waitressed, it was 3 ladies, and one of the ladies, because of her religion, I guess, could not have meat, or it was vegetarian or some
Buddhist.
shit. I don't know what she was.
What
I
color
have
skin did
no
they have?
fucking idea. But all I know is, like, she asked for the soup. It's my first goddamn day. And, like, of course, like, she's, like, eating this soup. And then she's like, what is the base? So I go in the kitchen and I'm like, what's the base? And they're like, you know, chicken or beef or whatever the fuck they
Stock,
said.
yeah, whatever
Yeah,
stock.
the stock,
And you
yeah.
should say no matter what, it's vegetable stock, but you don't have that education.
No, I am 18 years old. Okay, I am 18
And you've
years
never
old.
come across a vegetarian before.
And I have never worked in a restaurant. I worked the only place I worked at was Subway. Okay,
You worked at Subway?
I worked at Subway.
Oh, you are trash.
Okay, thank you. No, I worked at, if we're really going down this whole fucking rabbit hole, this started in a place that we're like so far away from now. But yeah, so right after I quit smoking meth, I started working at Subway.
Oh, God, go for like
You
the
know,
good times to the bad times.
Yeah, basically like, oh, how the mighty have fallen, right?
What, for like fucking $3 an hour?
Yeah, no, I worked at Subway. Oh, God. Fuck. Did I just tell this story on a... Okay, fine. Here we go. Yeah, so I worked at Subway, and I, you know, had just come off meth, so I was real skinny, but then I started getting fat real quick, because I'd, like,
Oh,
shove
yeah,
that...
Subway fat.
Yeah, I shoved that cookie dough, that pre-made cookie dough that was in the walk-in, like, in my mouth, like, down my gullet
Was that
every
for
time.
For the cookies.
Yeah.
Or are they made in? They're made in there.
No, the dough is not, but the cookies are baked.
The cookies are baked in there.
There.
Okay, yeah.
But they're, yeah. So,
All right, yeah. I'd like to get like a little peek behind the curtain here. I
Yeah,
don't really
yeah,
know what's
yeah.
going on in there.
Yeah, well, this is like, you know, it's a franchise, right? So it's like this guy owned the franchise, and the girl who trained me was his, like, 15-year-old daughter, you know, and I'm, like, 17, like, coming off of meth, and I'm like, all right. And my other two co-workers were, and I shit you not, Svetlana and Svetlana. It was, like, two Russian chicks, both named Svetlana. It was, like, us and this 15-year-old, and this homeless guy would come in.
Was it owned by Russians?
No, he was Indian, so he
Oh
was
my
Indian.
God!
The
Why am
daughter
I
was
not
Indian.
shocked at all.
Yeah, but then there
They
were like
love
two,
Subways,
but
don't
then there
they?
were
They
two-
love Subways franchises.
It was her, two Russian chicks, and me. So it was already a weird fucking like a. Nobody's getting anything done at that UN meeting, right? And like, and then this homeless dude would come in, no shoes, terrifying. He'd like come in and hiss, and like he would, honest to God, like.
Is this in California?
Yeah, this is in California, down the street from my mom's house. It's still there. But he would, like, reach around the counter, and we were afraid of him, right? Because he was terrifying. Like, he was the only guy who was allowed to use the, you know, any upstanding citizen, they're like, do you have a bathroom? Oh, sorry, it's, you know, for customers only. This guy, like, you couldn't tell him no. Because you're like, what's he going to do?
You shit on the floor?
Yeah, but whatever, you know, like, and he would reach around and open up the cookie drawer and, like, grab the cookie, and we'd let him, because, like, we were scared of him.
Yeah, fucking leave him.
You know, and I'm like,
what are you
yeah.
going to do? Die on this hill?
No, I mean, exactly. Like, I'm coming off meth, and I'm like, like, I can sense, like, where you're at.
Yeah, you can have a cookie, or else you're going to get Hep B.
But check this out. So I would wear, you know, I had my Subway hat, and I would wear, like, this sort of fluorescent, kind of, like, day glow, but teal, like, eyeshadow that matched the green Subway. And this homeless...
Were you fashionizing
Just go
yourself
fuck yourself.
towards your
Just-
fucking job?
Yo, dude, I had
Okay.
very little to live for at this point.
Yeah,
Let me
okay.
have this.
Okay,
and this
you don't want to relapse.
homeless
So you're
ass
putting
motherfucker.
everything into this fucking
Yeah.
Subway job.
Basically, but he would come in and he would call me Cindy Lauper. He'd be like, "Hey, Cindy Lauper," this homeless dude who would steal cookies like from.
Do you look like Cindy Lauper?
I don't look anything like, but I think it was the makeup because it was very like 80s.
Time after time.
It had nothing to do with the song, but yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, yeah. There's a great, you know, you just reminded me. So there's this movie. It's an Australian film by Baz Luhrmann called Strictly Ballroom. It's one of my mom's favorite movies. I actually think it's a very funny movie, and there's this great scene. That's the song to it, when they're dancing on top of this building with this, like, Coca-Cola, like, amazing Coca-Cola sign. It's, like, sparkles and shit, like, and that's in Sydney. And I got driven by that just before coronavirus hit, when I felt like the world was magical. So.
Well, it's not, is it? No, back to Subway.
Yeah.
Let's hear about this homeless guy. Did he shit on the floor? I want to hear the good stuff.
No, so the
Did
story...
he fuck another homeless woman in the corner?
The best story I have from there has nothing to do with that guy.
Oh.
The best story I have from there, so I went to their other store, right, which is a little further away from...
Coming up in the world.
Yeah. And you know, me and Svetlana were there one day. And, like, it wasn't Svetlana, but it was another Russian girl. Like, I don't know what the deal was. But it was me and her, and this lady
They're just
comes
getting
in.
their legs strong until they make them hookers, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know what goes on.
That's a reach, but sure.
Look, they're white women. They can say what they want.
Fair. Yeah, I'm not even gonna. I'm too fucking tired and stressed out to even argue most of the. You almost have free reign tonight.
Ooh, I got a fucking.
I'm gonna let a lot of
loose.
I'm gonna let a lot of it just sort of glaze by me. I can't handle it right now. But, yeah, this lady comes in and she so she's had work done. She basically looks like a cross between Rosie Perez and Michael Jackson, right? Like after he got the work done. Like her nose is like a point that's like not natural. Like, she's kind of stretched out, but she's clearly like, Hispanic.
So she looks like Janet Jackson, maybe.
I don't know. No, because she had Rosie Perez vibes, and this is why.
Fuck that is.
Well, look her up.
Okay, I'll look her up later.
Yeah, because Janet's got her own sort of like class about her. She's fucking Janet Jackson.
She's not Michael Jackson though.
Correct. You did it. You did.
Everyone remember that. She's not.
She's not. No. So this lady comes in, and she's got like one kind of like it's a toddler, maybe a little bit older than a toddler, but still like a toddler. And then she's got like another like smaller toddler in her arms, and so she's like ordering.
So she fucks.
Yeah. And she's ordering sandwiches for all the people she fucks, cause like
she's fucks and she's poor. Oh god.
Well, yeah. Well, she's just ordering like lots of sandwiches. 6-footers or 1-footers, whatever. 6 1-footers.
Kid's birthday.
Just exactly. Like she doesn't. That's what she fucked earlier. So now she's ordering that
Dad's
in food
gone.
form.
We're gonna have a Subway birthday party for the kid.
Yeah, for the kid.
Which is it better than a McDonald's birthday party? I guess.
Is it?
No,
I was a Porta Subs fan, actually, which didn't, when I was a kid. So that's like a chain in Nevada. And me and the other kids were always like, Subway's gross. There's bugs in it. Like, when kids like tell lies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we hated Subway. It was all about Porta Subs. But sadly, it didn't catch on the way Subway did, even though it tastes better. So anyway, this lady, she's ordering the sandwiches. She's holding one of the kids. And like the other kid, like I can see him. He's like by the chips. And he's like kind of pulling on the rack. And I'm not in the best place as like a person at this time in my life, Did
you strike him?
Did I strike him? No, I'm making his mommy her fucking meat mountain sandwiches, But I see him kind of like pulling on the rack to a point where like I probably should have been like, hey, But also, what are you supposed to say? Like, hey, can you watch your fucking kid?
Hey, your little fucking tard over there is going to knock everything.
Yeah, well, that is exactly what happened.
This was the 80s, wasn't it?
How old do you think I am? Oh, my God. Okay, so this kid, like, he's yanking on the chip rack, and then the thing comes, like, crashing over. So, like, the bags of chips fly everywhere. Chips are fucking everywhere. And she's screaming, oh, my God, fuck, and, like, the kid is crying under the chip rack, under just, like, Sun Chips, Cheetos, Doritos, like, the whole thing. You can hear him screaming. The other kid's still in her arms. And so she, like, drags this chip rack off of him, pulls him out from underneath it. There's crisps everywhere. And then she's, like, walking out the door, right? And we, like, have all these sandwiches, and we're just like, oh, fuck. And then right before it closes, she turns around, and she's like, keep making those sandwiches. And you can, like, see her out of the window, like, shove one kid in the car, the other kid in the back of the car, and, like, peel out of the driveway. And we're just like, I guess we'll, like, finish making the sandwiches. And then, like, 30 minutes later, she came back for all of them.
Oh, perfect. She just needed to go somewhere quiet to beat their kids.
Yeah,
and you know what? I bet those kids now are upstanding citizens. That's the problem with the kids these days.
Those kids are in jail.
I don't think so.
Well, we'll never know.
I think a stern beating keeps a kid in line.
We'll never know.
Too much of a stern beating puts a kid in jail. I think there's a fine line.
Yeah, I mean, my dad hit me.
Yeah,
before he left.
Yeah. Last thing he done. Last thing he done was push you down the stairs.
Yeah. He's like, I got about 20 minutes before somebody finds this kid.
What's my favorite thing to do before I leave?
I think I told the joke recently about the little timer. It doesn't matter, but how do we get on the subway thing?
No, we have to go back to the fake Italians. And I'm imagining this.
Italians. I'm so tired. I can barely even follow.
Mario is a Mexican, and your first customer's table.
Oh yeah.
So this is New York we're talking about.
Yeah. So this is like it's like my first fucking day, and basically
this is New York.
This is New York. It was on. It was in Hell's Kitchen. The restaurant no longer exists. Good. He's a dick. Yeah, he definitely, I don't know, he'd hire all these, like, gay boys, because he was gay, and then he'd, like, flirt with them, and
molest them, maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure some shit like that happened.
That's hilarious.
But, yeah, it was, my manager's name was Maria, and she was, like, very little. She was kind of like a Judge Judy type, to be honest.
I like that.
Yeah, like, she didn't like me at first, but then she grew to like me, but, yeah, the chef, Armando was the chef, and he like cornered me in the kitchen once, and put his face on my face, and it was very gross.
Was he Italian? Because that's actually part of their culture.
Yeah, but I think he was trying to assimilate, along with the pasta.
He's trying to assimilate. Like Cuomo said, like you're allowed to, if you're Italian, you're allowed hold a woman down and fuck her. I think. Is that
the quote?
Yeah, because you speak with your hands, isn't it?
Good one.
You can't speak your feelings. Speak with your hands. My hands are grabbing your tits right now, you retard.
Yeah. It was like so. Yeah, I worked at this place. I actually, Pip got me a job there. Pip started working there. He was my roommate. Then he got me a job. Then I got a couple people I knew a job there. So it was real weird. We got a weird cast of characters, weird cast of white kids who are in their like late teens working for like this gay Mexican man who
Italian.
like is pretending to be Italian. And yeah, so it was a weird, and nobody's like paid on the books, right? So weird dynamic. Yeah, and that lady basically, she was like, the soup, and then, of course, I go back there and I'm like, what's in the soup? And Armando's like, whatever he said, I remember his face. I don't remember what meat he said it was. So then I like,
but when you went back, did you explain she says she can't have meat? Or did you just go, you just went back with the question she asked?
I think I went back being like, is there meat in the soup? Yeah. It's my first day waitressing ever. Are
these bitches white? I can't remember.
The woman was not white.
That asked?
Correct.
Oh,
but she was with two white women.
Okay, well then, free game. If you're hanging around with them, you're as bad as them. That's what I say.
Okay.
So I think she's just trying to fucking assert her power. She ate the soup.
I will never. I just got chills remembering the
I know
look
what
on
happened.
her face.
She fucking ate the soup, knowing it.
She ate it. The whole thing was upsetting. It was like one of the worst.
Did she finish it?
No, she didn't finish it. I don't even remember what happened. She was very upset. I ruined, her relationship with God. That's how she looked at me.
Oh, it's a religious thing. Sorry.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I redact.
Or that's
I
what
retract my comment.
That's what it appeared to be to me.
Yeah,
I think. I don't. I'm making an assumption, but that's the vibe I got. It wasn't like, it was more like I don't consume.
Well, maybe that's her thing, all right. I was thinking it's one of those.
So it was a fucking nightmare. So
vegan fashionistas.
Who was working? Oh, there was a guy who lived above that restaurant. He was bartending, and I was running a little late one day. And
keep that mic warm when I grab a beer.
Mario was a fucking dick, and I texted the bartender, Jared, that was his name, that I was running a little late, and he was like, "Yeah, no big deal, blah blah blah." So I like get there like 10 minutes late, but like I'm like the restaurant's not open. People are eating family meal. I think I had already eaten as well, and I walked in, and Mario was like, "Thank you for joining us." Like really fucked up, and I enough shit had happened, including Armando like assaulting me in the kitchen. Like when I say he cornered me, and I mean this was a large man who, so. And I'm not trying to, wave my little banner about it now, but yeah, that that did happen. So it's like, there was enough things going on there that the job was not fun, and it wasn't really. I don't think the money was even like, even with like under the table, it was starting to not be worth it. So he was like, "Thank you for joining us," and I was like, I think I mentioned I texted Jared, and he was like real nasty, and I was like, you know what, I could leave. I could go. And he was like, "Go." And I was like, "Fine." And I left, and I never went back. I was like, fuck this.
Perfect. I like that.
Yeah. I don't even remember what job I went to after that. But I do know that, I was a bad waitress. So how this started. So then I ended up being a hostess in several different places. But then I was a waitress down the street for my friend. She opened a little restaurant. I had worked with her at a different restaurant that's very delicious.
So you were kind of in the industry.
I mean, it was a job. Yeah, it was a job.
You're in hospitality.
Yeah,
You're
to
a hospital,
much to people's dismay.
which is a fun job to work in, but from the outside,
Perpetuated my alcoholism for sure.
no, from the outside looking in, people are like, "Oh, I work in the bars," and you're like, they're so bent, they're so like, we go out on Monday nights.
Yeah, I mean, every night was a night out.
Yeah, it's not fun just working. It's just when you don't work it anymore. I don't like them.
I can't. Well, whatever. I mean, I can't do it again. But if you are in Brooklyn, you should check out Buttermilk Channel. That's a very legit restaurant. Good restaurant to work at.
I don't like
good
the name.
It's
feel
an
fat.
actual channel, and the food is fattening. It's delicious.
It's a TV channel.
No, it's a body of water in Brooklyn.
What?
It has a story. Don't ask me the story. I have forgotten it. But
I bet she's polluted.
Probably. Dead bodies. Whatever. But I met people there. I think I talked about one girl last time. They called her Bone. I think I talked about this last time.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
So she opens a restaurant. This is like one of the hardest working people I've ever known in my life. She
really hard working, but she's a waitress.
No, so this is kind of like a weird thing.
Can you give me her BMI and skin color?
She is white
and fat.
No, very thin, very small.
Oh yeah, that's hence
short.
the name. I forgot. Sorry.
Well, no, she was bad at the bone.
Oh,
that's why we call her Bone.
yes. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
and she when she had her master's in some shit. I don't know, like her husband is in like the FBI or some shit now. I'm not gonna go into it. I'm not gonna go into it too much. But
like
the point
Ice-T.
like Ice-T, exactly. He is Ice-T. Her husband is Ice-T, and she's Coco. So
Sweet.
Forget what I said about her being thin. She's actually got a big fat ass. So anyway, she opened a restaurant. Coco opened a restaurant. She started her own catering business, and so she'd take me to do these weddings. It's very funny. One of the things that I think is so funny about anything, especially I know they tried to make a TV show about a restaurant before and a movie, and I don't think that nobody's ever done it right, because like the Larry Sanders Show, I think when you really magnify, Party Down. Have you seen Party Down? That's a good one.
No.
You magnify the people that you have cobbled together to create an experience at an event or at a restaurant or to make a TV show, because everybody is their own little personality with their own little problems, quirks,
Oh yeah. When you work in a bar, and you got one person to bully, hilarious.
Yeah. So exactly, but nobody's really examined this correctly in a restaurant. But Party Down is a really good one because it shows that everybody involved in the catering industry is usually somebody attempting to make it in entertainment, and so they all have their own little projects.
A few of them are just trying to become some sort of fucking managerial position. The real tragic people,
right?
Literally the saddest people I've ever met in my life.
But when you examine
people are going for a managerial position through college in a hotel, I'm like, I don't know how you're not jumping out of the window.
Yeah, the people go to school for hospitality. It's kind of just literally go to work at a restaurant.
I mean, drink yourself to death for sure. Have a good time.
Go do every job in a restaurant, and then you've learned the hospitality industry.
Well, that's what they do after college.
Yeah. Well, why even go to college? You don't even.
You don't need to go to college.
No. Yeah,
you don't even need to go to school. You need to speak. If you can speak,
really.
If you can speak a language.
Yeah.
One language.
2 is even better.
If you have 2 languages, you're better than that.
Yeah. No, 2 is good for a restaurant because, you have front of house, back of house. Back of house, there's
how many Americans speak 2 languages?
Yeah, more than you'd think. I'm not one of them.
No, I mean Americans. I don't mean Mexicans that are in the country.
Okay, you know what? You want me to crunch these fucking numbers right now? I have no goddamn idea. No,
if you can speak 2 languages, you are killing it in hospitality. Therefore, you're better than hospitality because it's a one language.
I'm not even going to argue with
It's
him.
a personality-based business, basically.
Right.
That's it.
So
if you've got a good personality, you'll do well. You don't have to be smart.
But it's very funny to think all of these weddings that I was one of the catering servers to, and how close knit I was with the girl who was making it all happen, which how somebody even has that capacity. I just don't have it in me. To make sure these fuckers get their tablecloths and their silverware and their little, hors d'oeuvres and all this bullshit all night. You know what I mean? The fact she organizes that. But when I think about myself, I'm I have no business being here. My whole mission the entire day is how do I eat some of this food.
Yeah, that's what you about working weddings
or any event where I see food.
Yeah.
Like when I used to work these, like,
no matter what, I'm taking a vol au vent and I'm having a soup. Everything that's coming out first, I'm trying everything.
Well, what I would do, so I used to work these events. I know I've talked about it on here.
I used to put a vol au vent into the soup.
I don't even know what a vol au vent is.
It's a pastry. A mushroom. It's a wedding thing.
Soup. Okay. Well, we didn't have soup was not a big one, but
as a starter.
Not at weddings. No.
Well, we've come from different cultures, I guess.
Yeah.
Continue.
So, I would sometimes work these like really high-end events in Manhattan for like the 1% of Manhattan, where basically they're like throwing this like super expensive event.
Jewish?
Where you had to pay, I mean, yes, there are Jewish people there, of course, but you had to pay a stupid amount of money to even get a seat at a table there. Usually these people would buy tables. Like, it's like, oh, this is
to show off, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're showing off, but then you're there to, like, do an auction or donate or whatever to whatever the cause is for the event, right?
The Taliban, maybe?
Yeah, the Taliban. So, usually those events, I was not like a caterer. I was like, registration or some shit. So what I'd have to, so the catering is separate. So I'd have to that's a tricky one, right? Because I'd have to locate the caterer that I'd have to connect with the caterer quickly and then be like, hey, you got a plate of food, I'd have to find a spot, connect with the caterer, kind of be like, would you want
to... You're using your personal skills
to eat. To eat.
Yeah. No, it's good to know someone in the kitchen always to feed you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, because sometimes they'd come up to us, but you're not allowed to eat when you're on registration.
It's very easy to talk to chefs because chefs are dumb people.
No. I would disagree.
They're idiots.
No,
my friends are chefs.
I have friends that are chefs too. All chefs are stupid.
You flatter them.
That's a stupid thing to say.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
All landscapers are stupid. There we go. Okay, ergo facto, I can say what I want.
Okay, but I also know chefs, and they're not all stupid.
Let me please do what I'm saying. All chefs are stupid, and all you have to do is stroke their little ego going, you're killing it tonight, mate.
It also sounds like you're talking about comedians.
Comedians
really,
are
interchangeable.
They're the most retarded.
Yeah, fair
I
enough.
will put them way below chefs or landscapers or that homeless man in Subway. 100%. If you're reaching around grabbing cookies, you're doing better than some bender than open mics.
You're taking what you want.
100%. But every chef...
No.
Not every chef. Every chef I've worked with. Very funny, bad alcoholics, but the way, if you're having... You can get in an argument with a chef, because they don't respect bar staff, obviously, and they hate waitresses, I saw a chef show a plate at a waitress, and I couldn't believe how quick she dodged her way out of it. I was like, you should go boxing.
Wasn't her first rodeo?
No, I don't think so. But we used to, I don't know, we used to get on with some chefs, and then there's another batch of chefs. I just didn't like how cocky they were. And because they get cocky, because you have to be confident to be a chef to a certain degree, or at least confident in your. And if you say something like, "Oh, were you watching Gordon Ramsay last night again?" Is that what you're doing? They get so upset because he's their god.
Well,
when he was on TV...
You're making sweeping generalizations.
When he was on TV 15 years ago when I worked in hospitality, he was so big.
Yeah.
And if you say to a chef, oh, were you watching that again? Are you trying to... They used to do it in the kitchen. They used to do the...
we need to set some parameters here because you're talking about Cork, Ireland. Yeah? Ireland?
What? Because I'm from some hick nation.
Yeah. Sorry. I mean, because
I'll have you know that the chefs where I'm from are very talented.
Oh, very talented.
We're known for our food.
People.
We're known for our food.
We're known for over Manhattan.
Fuck you.
Okay, because I'm like,
fuck you, fucking
fucking what?
Look what you've done to Afghanistan. You
I
personally.
Okay, yeah, because I've got all that time.
You and your
energy.
geriatric president.
I am too self-centered to do anything about Afghanistan, except for a hope that it all works out, which it won't. So thoughts and prayers. But I did this trail at this restaurant. I think his name's Daniel Hume. I don't remember, but. It's one of the best restaurants in New York City. It's called 11 Madison Park, and it's $500 minimum to eat there a night, right? So I like
what?
Yeah. So check this out. So I see like a fucking ad on Craigslist. I'm in like college. I'm living with my roommate Pip in a studio apartment, and in a bunk bed situation. and I like need a job while also going to school. So I go here to train. I had very small plugs in my ears at the time.
Oh my God.
I just said small ones, and they're not there anymore.
Oh, no,
and
small,
I don't want to fucking hear it.
Small is worse than big because you're like, I'm half in.
Yeah, well, I'm glad because a friend of mine, my friend Brendan, he got his punched at around the same age, punched. So now they just look like cat butts, like hanging out because it'll never grow back.
Some 41 are cool.
Okay, yeah, that's what it's about. Okay. But anyway, so I had these small plugs, and I would wear winged eyeliner. And basically, I went in there to train, and I had never seen anything like it. Like, and I think I've talked about this restaurant before. They're like career restaurant people. Like, you had to wear button-ups, cufflinks, like the whole thing. Like, they would steal each other's uniforms and shit. Like, you're like, if you're working at this restaurant, you are in it to like win it. What that is, I don't know.
Waistcoat for men.
The whole fucking deal, right? So I'm like trailing there. And there's like, you know, different sections of the kitchen. Like, you know how there's usually a line, and then there's like, you know, the cold, and then like, you know, the fryer or whatever, and like desserts. Yeah. This is like there's sections of like the biggest kitchen I've ever seen. Like 6 people in the dessert section. You know,
pastry chefs are called.
Pastry chef, yeah, whatever. There's so many fucking people in this kitchen, and like the runners. So there's like the expediter, his name was Hawk, and I was like, okay. And you know, you're running shit out on these like big silver trays in your little like, you know, penguin suit, and I'm like, okay, this is some pretty fucking. I did not think this, and I think I had already worked at Mario's, right? So my like view of restaurants is Mario's Trattoria versus 11 Madison Park, which is like now the most insane restaurant I've ever been inside of, you know? And so basically when this chef like walks in, I didn't even realize it was the chef. He's not really doing, well, I'm sure he's doing something, but he doesn't look like he's doing anything. And then he'll say something, and every single person in the kitchen, every single person is like, we chef, like, and I was just like, I
hate that so much.
Am I at war? Like, I was like so nervous, and they told me if I want.
They think they're like, it's like a military thing. Yeah, chef, shut up, you bender.
Yo, I don't know.
He's just a fat alcoholic who's just been doing this because he couldn't do anything else.
Yeah, well, you remember the woman I told you about, the pure food and wine woman, the one who I think I talked about this on here. I worked at this restaurant, Pure Food and Wine. It was a like vegan raw food restaurant, and she was caught.
Absolutely zero crackers.
She was caught because she had extorted money from investors to keep the restaurant open. She hadn't been paying her staff, and she was like caught with her like crazy fiance who was fat, and they were caught because they were like ordering a Domino's pizza. But she's like the raw vegan food queen.
Oh, that's not raw vegan.
Yeah. So it was like, you know, hilarious or whatever, and like splash all over Gothamist. The food actually was not bad. Woody Harrelson would eat there. I worked there for a hot minute. He would like get high in their courtyard.
Oh, I like him. But like, why would you raw vegan? I don't care about that.
I don't know. It's
if you're rich enough, I suppose
they would make cheese out of nuts and they'd call it nut cheese. Like, how you put that on like how the fuck? Like, I watched so many people like, and our nut cheese selection today, and I'm like, how are you not laughing? Like, how are you doing this? Like, you are a vanilla piece of shit if you can even like say that every day without cracking a fucking smile. But for some reason, I was lurking her Instagram in the middle of the night one night because I was just, you know, I was curious because I was like, where, you know, have you ever thought like, where is this person during coronavirus? So I was like, I wonder what happened to Sarma, you know? And she's got this dog, and it's real cute, and he's a rescue pit bull, blah, blah, blah. But I guess she posted about that 11 Madison Park guy. He's doing an all, he's completely, so this restaurant that is like, I don't know, is it the best restaurant in New York City? It might have hit that list at some point. It's a crazy restaurant, but now he's like doing all vegan food or some shit. He's like, no more meat in this restaurant. So I don't know, you know, if you're good enough at being a chef, you know, why is that fucking, you know, what, shitty, lame, like you say?
I worked in the industry for 5 years.
5 years. Yeah. Okay. I worked in it longer than 5 years.
When I was younger, the chefs were super cool. They were taking coke, they were drunks, and then they completely
really
revamped the whole hotel and fired all the cool people and replaced it with squares. And I never really got over that. I never really got over that. Yeah, chef. And I was like, shut up, faggot. Like, they're just so...
Oh, God.
Excuse me, this is in a chef context, and we're talking 15 years ago, so... The chef was mean. Anyway, I've got a funnier story.
Fine.
There was this new guy when we were working, because I used to work a lot of weddings and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a new guy. I loved when a new guy came and like you could watch them just sweat it out because they don't, like, you know, they're like 17 years old or whatever. They don't know what's going on. And he was there a little bit, and his job was to drop champagne to the, you know, to the bride and groom's room, you know, so the wedding suite. So a bucket of champagne up there, and he dropped the bucket of champagne up there, and then when he was up there, for some crazy reason in his crazy little head, he decided he was going to take a shit in there.
Wow.
Yeah, I love it.
Deciding, or was it?
But he
like
was just, I
emergency?
guess he just had the feeling at the time that he needed to shit, and he was
He'd
like,
probably been holding it in a while, and was like, "This is my opportunity."
there is
to
bathrooms. It's a big
drop the
hotel.
kids
There's
off at the
bathrooms
pool.
everywhere. Like.
Really? So
Like
he
there's,
decided.
there's staff bathrooms. You don't use the. Well,
Okay.
I used the handicap bathroom the whole time, but
It's usually nicer.
yeah, he took a shit in the room, and he just as he stunk out the whole room. Like it was smelled of shit apparently. Just as he walked out the door, the groom walked in, and he was like, well, "What's going on here? This is like not the worst hotel. It's not like 5-star, but it's you would rate like as in it was pretty successful. It was really pretty, and it was booked up for like 5 years straight.
Yeah.
And the groom was like, "What?" The groom like laughed off. Was like, "What are you doing here?" Like, and the groom was like smelling. He was like, "Did you?" And he was like, "Oh, it's so fun." They fired him. They fired him for shitting in the, because the groom complained to the owner. He was like, the owner was a gay man who was married to a woman, so he was very angry the whole time. He was scary, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they fucking fired his ass, man. But I love the idea of just like fucking being so naive to think you can just shit in the fucking wedding suite.
I mean,
during a wedding while they're like the reception is going on downstairs. You're putting the champagne in there. They're going to come up.
Well, you don't know they're going to come up. He took.
I can relate though. I remember one time I was
Roll
having
the dice.
I was having drunken diarrhea in the disabled toilet, which no one ever
there.
used. And one time there's a fucking knock on the door,
Mm.
and then like fucking, I had to like it wasn't a knock. It was a walking stick smacking off.
And then you had to like limp out of there.
I don't know. I should have weighed him out, and it kept knocking, and then yeah, I should have weighed him out, and then there was a severely disabled person in a wheelchair outside the door, and then I said I was cleaning up vomit in there. That's why I was in there so long. I wasn't. I was making vomit out my ass.
Wow, I'm impressed at how quickly you came up with something.
No, quickly. I had about 10 minutes to think about it.
Well.
I was like, will this person just die in their chair before I have to go out there?
Wow.
I enjoyed those days
the
of working in a hotel. It's good crack.
Yeah, I mean,
I had severe social anxiety, and I had to work in a bar. I would panic when I could see someone coming to the bar, and I would serve like 300 people a night, and I was like, another one. Another person I had to interact with.
Well, you know what? So what's interesting about this 11 Madison Park place is, so, you know, I trailed, and then they were like, you know, we're going to need this many days from you. And I was like, oh, this doesn't actually work with my school schedule. Like, what is part-time to them is actually like basically a full-time job. And I was like, and they were like, also, you're going to have to take out your plugs, and you can't wear any of the makeup.
Yeah.
And I didn't wear, like, these wings were not like Amy Winehouse. So I'm like, it was like, I didn't wear a lot of makeup. So I was like, and I was like, I don't want this job. But then Pip ended up taking the job, right? Like, my roommate Pip, he was like, I'll go do that job, because you made hella money there, right? So Pip goes down there, and I end up taking this job as a hostess at a place called Nizza, down the street from Mario's Trattoria, incidentally, like only a few blocks away. And Nizza is spelled Nizza. So, like, white dudes would come up and be like, man, we love the food here at Nizza. Like, but it was like, it's Nizza. It's supposed to be like the city of Nice or whatever the fuck, right?
Nice is in France.
I don't fucking know. It was like it was supposed to be like a fusion of some shit.
Is it Italian or some shit?
It was like I don't. There were like crostinis, but there was pasta, but there was pizza.
How much did you get felt up there, and we'll know if they're Italian or not, because that's their language?
No, there was the manager. So it was a restaurant group, so they owned 3 restaurants on that block, right? It was insane. So there was Marseille, which was their popular French place. Yeah, and then there was Nizza, which was supposed to be this fusion, I think. And then there was 5 Napkin Burger, which is now like, I think, their most popular chain, but it had just opened, right? And so
that's a terrible name. 5 napkin burger.
It was, you know, the burger's so good you need 5 napkins.
Oh,
whatever. Yeah, jerk off in all of them. Anyway, so
off.
the main, like the GM of the three.
General manager.
Yeah, his name was Robert, and he had the biggest ass I have ever seen on any man. And I would call him.
You get that in hospitality. You get some really fat asses because people snack in the kitchen a lot.
He wasn't really fat.
No,
he
but
just
he
had
a
a
big
fat ass.
Just a big bottom trunk.
Yeah, and I would call him. I would be like, oh, daddy's coming. Like, I don't know. I always like to call bosses, like not to their face, but behind their back. Like I call them dad or daddy. Michael Richards. So this was actually this is one of the weirder nights I've ever worked.
Michael Richards, the N-word guy.
Yes, he's the N-word guy from Seinfeld, right?
Yeah.
God, let me see if I can remember this night. So it was like a Saturday night. I'm hostessing. It's not super busy, but like it's full. And Michael Richards is in there, and he's at a table of like 6. And like 4 people are black at the table, right? And and you're kind of like, and this was very short.
Was this just after the?
It was very soon after his, N-word.
At the, what was that? It was at the comedy. Oh, someone with a motorbike's outside being cool.
Oh, okay. I I'm wearing headphones, so I was like, am I having a stroke? Yeah, no, so it was after his,
a comic strip.
Full meltdown. I don't even remember where it was, but it was after his full meltdown, his racist tirade. So now he's, like, out and about on a Saturday night. He didn't look like, I don't know. I'll put it this way. He didn't look comfortable. Like, he didn't look like he really knew these people he was with. He wasn't.
Do you think he paid them as actors to go around the town?
I don't know. You know what I mean? Because it's Saturday night. He's out in Hell's Kitchen. Like, it's a busy part of New York City. Like people like looked up, like, oh, it's Michael Richards, so.
Hey, Michael, say your thing.
Yeah, say your thing. Yeah, and say your punchline. So he's there, right? And so they're at this table. It's not like in the center of the restaurant, but then like near him is this couple. And they're like straight up getting a fucking divorce at the table, right? Like they were miserable when I sat them. They're like fighting. They are fighting. Their marriage is ending. And then, like, right in front of the hostess station is, like, another party of 6. It's this girl's birthday. She's sort of, like, in her 20s. And, like...
Fat girl?
No.
Oh.
But what ended up happening was, like, he's over there, and people are, like, gawking at him, right?
Because it's soon enough after the thing.
It's soon enough after where everybody's...
Within a year or two.
Within a year. Yeah, it was real soon after this.
So we're talking 2005, 2006, maybe.
Yeah. I'm
something
well,
like that.
No. But more like 2007, I think. No, 2008, 2007.
It's in the.
I think 2007. It doesn't. It's close enough where everybody's. Okay. I'm telling you, everybody's looking at him like there he is.
You get a 10-year.
He's
like
doing his
even
PR
no, yeah.
thing, whatever. And then this couple's arguing. They're screaming at each other. Like it got to a point where I think this was one night where one of the he had no floor managers. So it was the only night that I've ever worked with Dad directly, right? Because he's like the GM. So he'd float between the 3, but he didn't really have to do anything because he had these floor managers. But no, he had no floor managers. So he was like, oh, we're working to get together tonight.
So fat-ass dad.
Fat-ass dad. God, I just remembered. I think like I remember like I would get these lemonades. Well, and I just remember one time like I can't remember exactly what happened, but I just remember he looked at me and he said the hostess gets 1 lemonade or something, and I'll just never like, and he like floats away on his like ass that's like a cloud, but. So this couple's arguing to the point where he had to go over and like ask them, even though like it's like a bustling restaurant with like loud music, like they had to like cool it. But then like the birthday girl at this other table begins puking all over her table.
Oh, I love it.
So she's puking everywhere, and her friends are like, and she's like, she went from like lucid to like completely not. So they call the ambulance, right?
Drunk puking or
I get like she's like basically unconscious now, but like vomit is everywhere, and then the ambulance.
If it's a birthday girl, they're usually intoxicated,
right? So, but this restaurant, so the windows would open, right? Like, so it was one of those, where like it was just all windows, or they would open up in the summer, right? So you could like walk through the window or whatever. But like the actual door, like the corridor, it's like it was jagged, kind of like you would walk in. It was small, like it was a small corridor. So when the ambulance arrives, they start trying to fit the stretcher through the door, but then they realize they can't. So then they had to like move all the tables that were by the windows and like carried it, and like
not a good birthday.
They strap her to that, but like Michael Richards is there. This couple's getting, and I was just like, it was like very Twilight Zone, you know. And
if I was a drunk fat girl on the stretcher, I'd be like, why can't he just say the N-word no and take the fucking focus off me?
Well, and it was like the only night like the GM actually, you know, you could see him sweating. Like he hadn't worked in years. And like the one night, like every fucking thing goes wrong. I showed up to that restaurant still high on acid one day, right? Like, and Pip
100% do that job fucking on the...
Well, you know, because you don't exactly want to talk to everyone, right? So I had to go to work, and Pip, he was working at 11 Madison Park, but they were taking a field trip to a farm, right, that they sourced their meat from, to watch a pig slaughtering. So Pip is high on acid texting me from like a pig slaughtering, and I'm like, dude, you should not be on acid to watch. He's like, this is really fucked up. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like standing at Nizza. It's like, you know, 4:30 p.m. And I'm like, la, la, la. And this lady has her kid outside, right? And they're sitting at an outdoor table, and the lady walks in. And she's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. Can you just watch my kid for me? And I'm like, all I'm thinking is like, lady, if you knew what I was like, I am the wrong person. Yeah. Like, so, you know, youth. I worked there for a while. It was a decent job. For a child.
It's character building for sure.
Yeah, you know, everybody should work in a restaurant. In fact, you know, depending on how the Fringe goes, you know, I might just quit comedy and go back to it. My God, my first passion, seating people so they can stuff eggs in their fucking mouth at 10 in the morning.
Oh, no, people who worked on construction sites without ever working in, like, a restaurant or a hotel or anything are fucking savages. They're animals.
You know...
Like, you need to be, like, fucking in that kind of a...
I don't know how this just happened. I don't know how we just talked about fucking restaurants. I didn't even tell my glory.
No, I forgot, but I got like 5 years experience in fucking hospitality.
But we didn't plug any of my shit.
Oh yeah.
We haven't said anything to our Patreon people.
Oh yeah.
It's like what are we even doing? Do we even podcast? Do we even know how to podcast?
I forgot we were podcasting.
Is this even interesting?
Who gives a fuck?
Well, all right. I'm going to the Fringe. Can you plug it for me?
She's going to the Fringe, which is in Edinburgh, in Scotland. It's a couple of 100 miles north from here, and she has a show called "This Girl Is Bloody Nasty."
Yeah, that is the exact name.
And it's on in the Counting House.
In the lounge.
I've
also added a couple shows.
We'll get to it.
Okay.
At 2 p.m.
2 p.m. Yeah. Wow.
And, excuse me.
That's my closer, actually. That's why it's not working.
Shut up and promoting. Excuse me? And also she's added shows at Bar 50.
At 3:45 p.m.
At 3:45
the 19th and 20th.
The 19th and 20th of
and
August.
At 6:30 p.m. in the Counting House on the 23rd and 24th.
Yeah, whatever the fuck she said.
Yep. And
she'll be doing other shows around the town. But if you want to catch me, I don't even put my open mics online. But from friends on Facebook, message me, and you can come to my open mic.
Yeah, well, and
and we have Patreons that need.
We do have people. The people whose names Mark is about to remember.
They
give us $5 a month, American dollars, which is basically nothing. And I say that in a nice way, because everybody doing that has aided us in being able to
pay for a mic,
pay for things, and try to make this happen. But if you don't support us and you listen to this, and boy, there are quite a bit of you, it's, wouldn't be that hard.
We got listeners in Afghanistan. So for the new folks in Kabul, welcome to town. I heard it's good. I heard it's very nice. And we're also... congratulations, I guess.
Okay,
and I hope you continue listening.
Why don't you shout out the people who support us on Patreon?
Naylor.
Yep.
We love you. Dom-Doms.
Okay.
Who's a chef.
Okay, really? Are we doing this again? We're back to everybody gets a little backstory?
Kevza.
Mm-hmm.
Never worked in hospitality. Makes a lot of sense why though. No, it doesn't have the personality for it. Chicken House.
Yeah.
Mr. Cool Guy.
Yeah. You did it.
That's all of them.
That's all of them.
Also,
What are you gonna say?
I was like, we'll probably just put the other podcast up on for the patrons. Why not?
Yeah, we did record one, and
it's more politically charged. I just
Yeah.
assert
Yeah,
my
you know what?
alliance
That's a good
with the
idea.
Taliban.
That's
so
a good Marky Mark. You've come up with a brilliant idea. So there is a bonus episode that will go up for $5 and above Patreon subscribers. So if you want to hear,
just put it up
some
there
shit.
because they deserve.
Yeah, he's like just put it up there. Just edit it and put it up
Don't
there.
even edit it. Leave it raw.
Well, no, I don't fucking edit it, but I mean, I have to like.
Don't you dare edit out my racism.
You think I have the time? I'm like, give me a break. It's a miracle we even were able to do this before I have to finish packing, get all my shit together, and whatever. So
Catch a train.
Catch a train. Exactly. So, thank you to the people who support us.
Carve me the mahu.
What did you say?
It's Gaelic. You wouldn't understand.
It's Gaelic. I wouldn't understand.
You wouldn't understand.
So, you got this look in your eye. It's
a call to action in Gaelic. Call to action.
Okay. Well, I feel like it's really, I thought I was like maybe he has 4 minutes left in him, but his nose is pressed against the microphone. You actually can hear it crinkling onto the mic. I think you're drunk. Would you say?
I had 2 fucking beers.
Yeah.
No,
so he's drunk.
No, excuse me. Before my nap, I had that big bottle of beer.
Yes, you did.
I'm fucking having a party week. I am, aren't I?
Yes, you are.
Well, you're leaving me to go to fucking pursue your dreams, like so. Why can't a landscaper have a bit of liquor in his life?
A landscaper have a bit of liquor in his life.
You know what I mean?
I think it. I almost want to place a bet. One of us is going to get an email.
From what?
I don't know.
From who?
I don't know.
I don't fucking answer half my emails, so I don't care.
I
Email
know.
me all you want.
Yeah, but I would bet. I'll bet you a beer.
One of us going to get an email.
One of us is going to get an email.
That sounds fucking
from an anonymous person.
Foreboding and negative.
Well, the world, as the world turns.
Fuck the world.
I think Mark just joined the Taliban.
I am 100% impressed in what they've done.
Okay. Well, now this is going astray. So,
Inshallah,
if you want an extra
my
episode,
brothers, well done. You overthrew the Western scum.
Okay. Well,
those pigs.
You're right. We in trying to stretch this.
Don't leave women
hour,
get education. It's an absolute
really
nightmare.
just gone off the fucking rails.
I think that Malala should have got shot in the face.
Do you have anything nice to say?
Good night.
No. Okay. Try again, and then say good night.
Yeah, I mean, people are pretty cool.
People are cool.
Yeah.
That's what you got? People are cool?
Yeah. It's hard to have anything nice to say. Nice? What the fuck is nice? The fuck is nice? Your hair's nice. How about that?
I'll accept it.
We're both not Italian. That's pretty nice.
All right.
There you go. Good night.